We are on.
I wish I was Coach Matthews.
Well, welcome everyone. This is the 11th day of March 2019. Welcome to Daylight Saving Time. So we have no public hearings tonight, so we'll start the meeting. So first is the roll call.
Mayor Curley.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem King.
Here.
Alderperson Blanks.
Present.
Duncan.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Noes.
Here.
Mathis.
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. We will proceed. We're very pleased that Matt Miller is with us. Pastor Miller, ask him to step to the podium and offer our invocation. Ask everyone to please stand and remain standing as he leads the Pledge of Allegiance after the invocation.
Thank you for the honor of being able to offer prayer up before your meeting. May we bow. Lord God, we're so thankful for the gift of this moment. Lord, we're thankful for the life you've given us today. And Lord, we thank you for this beautiful city of Tullahoma, our community, all the abundance of people and creation that surround us every day. God, I thank you for our leadership. And Lord, I just pray for wisdom for them, God, that you instill within them and cultivate them within them the hearts of humility to find collaboration and an open hand everywhere they go. God, that you cultivate within them and within our community not only a deep intellect, but also a compassionate heart. Lord, that we always seek to see our people as well as the policies that best affect our people. And God, that in the midst of our streets, Lord, where there's brokenness, where there's hurting, God, I pray that as the leadership here, that they're able to find ways to ease the burdens on people and bring hope and healing in the areas of need. God, I thank you so much for their shepherding of our community. And God, I just pray that you lead them in this endeavor. Lord, help us as the citizens of Tullahoma to rise up and see the beauty of our town and to rise up and make it a place that not only is known for its businesses and not only is known for the places of commerce, but God, it's known as a place with a heart and with a hope and with a vision. God, I thank you for this day. I ask this humbly for our leadership and pray all these things in the power of Christ our Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Miller, appreciate you being here tonight. So, you see we've got a new face has joined us tonight. I would think all of you would agree that we've had some very impressive young people here over the years, but this is one of the most impressive young people that I've ever had the opportunity to introduce, and you'll understand why in just a minute. She is a member of several honor societies, Mu Alpha Theta. She's the president, actually. She's a member of the National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, and of course, as a result, she's participated in service and various community activities in each group. She's active in DECA. She is National Merit Commended. She's participated in Girl State. She's on the tennis team. She works. She's a volunteer at the Tullahoma Animal Shelter. And oh, by the way, she's valedictorian of her class. She has a GPA of not 4, but 4.667.
Wow.
So I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Lillian Charbonneau. Ms. Charbonneau, if you would tell us a little bit more about yourself.
You want me to stand?
No, just you can see this fine.
Well, my name is Lillian Charbonneau. I'm a senior at the Tullahoma High School, and as Mayor Curley said, I am valedictorian of my class. And throughout high school, I've been involved in many programs at the high school, including math team, DECA, and having opportunity to go to incredible programs such as Girls State, which I participated in at the end of my junior year, and various programs like that, and just the various clubs, honor societies I've been involved in over my high school career has just really helped shape me into the person I am today, and has really helped prepare me for my future, as well as the classes that I've taken and the courses that I've chosen to participate in. The AP and honors courses have all helped me guide into where I want to go in the future. I really want to attend either the University of Georgia in Athens or the University of Tennessee in Knoxville whenever college time comes around the fall. And I want to pursue a pre-vet route, majoring in either animal biology or biology, and that's my tentative plans for the future. And everything that I've had over my high school career has really helped me determine my path in my future and how I want to continue and how I want to serve my world and better my community and wherever I end up in the future.
And I think she could teach a speech class as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You said Georgia.
Yes.
UT. What happened to the University of Alabama, young lady?
It's still
She's
in
smart.
contention.
Okay, that's all I want to know. As long as it's still there. And you got to remember another thing. I had your dad in class. The way you've turned out is scary.
So, but UT Knoxville and Georgia are options, but you've also got applications out, and you really want to go.
To Baylor and Duke, I still have applications and decisions pending about those, but those don't come out until April.
Yeah. So, introduce your family that's in the audience.
In the audience, I have my wonderful mom and my great dad, Amber Charbonneau and Alan Charbonneau. And my mom is actually a mathematics teacher for freshmen at the high school. My dad is a state worker. He's a groundskeeper, soil tester type. Yeah, well.
So, Ms. Charbonneau, what classes are you taking now, or you've just finished taking?
In my seat right now, I'm enrolled in AP English Literature and AP Calculus BC, which is basically Cal 2, and then I'm taking two dual enrollment courses out at Motlow, a wellness class and a online walking class type. And then last semester, I just wrapped up with online. I took AP US Government and Politics and AP Macroeconomics.
Yeah. Okay.
That sounds like what I used to do.
Mr. Mathis, you can spell most of that.
You're right.
Now, in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand at your desk, and we've got a certificate we'd like to present to you. Now, I know you know that today is your birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
But what you don't know is that it's also a special day in Tullahoma. City of Tullahoma Certificate of Recognition presented to Lillian Charbonneau in celebration of Lillian Charbonneau's 18th birthday on Monday, March 11, 2019. So on behalf of the 18,655 citizens that call Tullahoma home, and by the authority vested in me as mayor of Tullahoma, I now therefore proclaim Monday, March 11, 2019 as Lillian Charbonneau Day in Tullahoma. So if you would, Ms. Charbonneau, stand at your desk there. We're going to get a picture of you. Here's your
Yeah. Wow.
Where did you go to school?
Mom and Dad want a picture? You got a camera? Winston, did you take a picture? Winston, do you mind taking a picture?
Thanks.
I mean, before the two of them up here.
You got to?
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, so Ms. Charbonneau, we'll call on you again in a few minutes as we're giving reports, anything that you'd like to announce, anything that you're involved with, okay? So I'm going to now call on Ms. Moody, who's at the podium, for a special recognition as well. Ms. Moody, the floor is yours.
As you know, each month we have an employee committee that reviews recommendations either from our citizens or from our employees for an employee of the month. And tonight we have an opportunity to recognize someone who's performed extraordinary duties, kind of above and beyond the call of duty. And I'd like to call up our Lieutenant Phil Henderson from our police department and Fire Chief Richard Chastain to explain the story, explain the nomination, and then we'll recognize the employee.
I'm going to take the easy route out. I'm going to just read what I wrote. It says, I am writing to nominate Cody Brandon for Employee of the Month. On Thursday, February 28, officers received a call of a helicopter crash near Cumberland Springs Wildlife Area. Sergeant Brandon responded to the area and attempted to locate the wreckage. He then called 911 on his cell phone and reached Moore County Dispatch. He had them transfer him to Coffee County Dispatch because the pilot and the passenger 911 call went to Coffee County. With the information Coffee County Dispatch had, with the pinging of their cell phone and the pinging of Sergeant Brandon's cell phone, they were able to give Sergeant Brandon directions to the crash site. Sergeant Brandon then relayed this information to Chief Chastain via text so other emergency personnel could get to the location. Sergeant Brandon, with his quick thinking, got the appropriate medical attention to the victims.
Chief Chastain?
I agree with that. and my words were basically the same. And I'd like to ask him if he could come up in case he wants to deny any of the great things we're saying about him.
So describe the environment that you found this wreckage.
Okay, well, when we were on the way to the wreckage, it came in the vicinity of West Lincoln Street in Cumberland Springs. We encountered heavy rain while we were traveling, which I feel sure had a part in this crash of the airplane. And when we arrived, they were giving us it's over in the edge of the tree line in a field, and that's basically all we had. And everybody was going down the roads, the paths. Of course, it was extremely muddy. We had just had all that rain. Cumberland Springs Wildlife Area has been doing a lot of clear cutting out there, so it was just a treacherous area to begin with. We have four-wheel drive vehicles, but in that type of terrain, you can't hardly go. So what Cody did was he got out on foot. He went as far as he could in his vehicle, which later we had to pull out with one of the fire trucks, but that's okay. He went as far as he could go in his vehicle, then got out on foot, went actually through the mud, through the woods, and got with the victims. And then, like they said, sent a ping to my phone, and on our GPS we could follow it straight to the crash site. I'll let him explain a little bit about the crash site if you don't mind. I will say that when we went to rescue him from the mud, it was I kind of laughed, but it was kind of pitiful. He was muddy from head to toe. I mean, but he didn't even think about that. He was focused on getting in there to that crash site because nighttime was coming. We were about 30 minutes from being dark, and if it had got dark, it would have really been tough. We may not have found him till the next day. So it was a tremendous effort by him. And I asked him, I said, well, are you going to go home and change, Cody? And this was about 6 o'clock. He said, no, he said, I'm just going to tell them when they look at me, you should have seen the other guy. Cody, would you mind coming up and telling about the crash site? Because you were actually there. Briefly.
I'm not good at talking in front of other people, so you'll have to kind of ask questions. My mind goes blank. But the crash site, we started off at about the 2200 block of West Lincoln. Like Fire Chief and Lieutenant said, they kept saying it was right off the roadway. I was able to get probably about 300 yards off the road into a field, and then exited my vehicle, went through where they had been clear cutting probably for another 100 yards over into another open field. Was able to get probably about another 150, 200 yards what we would call west. We'll call it west. And at that point, I still couldn't see anything, so that's when I called 911 to have them get my GPS and coordinate it with the pilot's GPS. Basically, I had to travel on foot through probably every oak tree out there that was laying on its side, hadn't been cut up, piled up, or anything. Probably for a good half a mile until I was able to see the tail of the helicopter in the tree. It was a mess.
How
They
far
both
off of Cumberland
survived,
Springs?
didn't
To my knowledge, they did. Yes, sir.
How far off Cumberland Springs right now?
Actually, off of Cumberland Springs, if you're familiar with the shooting range they have out there, it was probably no more than 300 yards from where the shooting
Back
range
towards the power
is.
line? Was it back towards the power line?
I don't remember seeing any power lines.
You actually went down by the shooting range and went due east and ran into the crash site. So it was about that far past the shooting range, back towards town. Actually, a lot closer that way than it was the way he came in on foot once he found them.
Yeah.
We used that route to get the patients out.
Much easier to walk out.
So Chief, this was in Moore County, so we describe our relationship we have with our neighbors in a situation like this.
Well, of course, we have the statewide mutual aid agreement, and the reason we got the call to begin with is because the cell phone pinged off of the 911 center in Coffee County. And as they said, when Cody called, his cell phone went to Moore County. So you never know in that area, so they send both of us. And we arrived first, of course, and had police officers and firefighters and EMS people there. And then when Moore County came in, of course, it was their territory. So once we secured the site, then we turned it over to Jason Deal with EMA, and they handled the press releases for that part of it, and helped with getting the equipment out once the FAA arrived the next morning. And we just worked together. I mean, it's just all about getting in there and getting the person out. So we don't really care where it is. We just get in there and help. And once they had plenty of help too. So we backed off and let them have control of the scene once they arrived.
So is the helicopter still there?
No, it was taken out.
Okay.
I think it actually came through town one morning. Came up at night. Yeah. The next night.
Well, Ms. Moody, you have a presentation to make, I believe.
So we have a certificate. The City of Tullahoma commends you for your service and extraordinary efforts going far beyond the call of duty, doing more than others expect. Your attitude and actions have demonstrated the highest commitment to our values and the dedication to excellence in public service that we all strive to achieve. Thank you for your extraordinary service to your fellow employees and the citizens of Tullahoma. Thank you very much. We can. Right up here.
Winston's Point.
Right here. Couple more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moody, and thank you, Sergeant Brandon. Okay, we're ready for comments from citizens. Anyone in the audience have anything to address the board that's not later on the agenda? Seeing none, we will proceed. We've got 4 items on the consent agenda. 19,
What about our report?
oh yeah,
Back up.
sorry. My fault. Mr. Mathis. Floor is
God,
yours.
didn't you?
I was so excited about doing the consent agenda, it just,
I noticed. That's okay. Well, I attended, like most of us did, attended the, what I like most about Tullahoma. And to watch some of those kids come up and get their certificates was priceless. I'm telling you, some of them, you know, I checked 2 or 3 that really had a good handshake and would look you right in the eye. And that one little girl, came up and she had those pretty little slippers on, and I had talked to her outside in the hall, and I said, you know, I said, I have 2 or 3 pair of those. She went, really? And I said, yeah, I do. But anyway, it was very, very, very nice, very priceless. You saw a lot of principals there and a lot of parents there. Very good, very good.
Good
Thank you.
program. Yeah, good program. Thank you. Is that all, Mr. Mathis?
That's it.
Thank you. Alderman Duncan, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. That indeed was a grand program. Every year, it's just a joyous thing to see our next generation coming up and doing great things like that. And I think all of them probably will come back to Tullahoma. And might be because of what you're doing. You know, you're laying some good foundations here. So, I did the Tennessee Promise Breakfast. Same day I did the Chamber Coffee, and then had another event that afternoon that kept me from going to the senior citizens trip to Nashville with them. And I did want to go with them on that trip. We have some senior citizens here that I think that went on that trip today. But I understand that was a great occasion also. I attended the TAEDC meeting. I've had a the Motlow Gala, I wanted to attend that, but I didn't get to. I did take a door prize, and I usually submit something every year, some auction items, and I usually submit a poem called Tullahoma, Tennessee, and this year I decided to do something different too, and I hope it went over well. I know it did. I've heard some great results from that, people who did attend, and they said they had a wonderful time. Yesterday we had Jane Allen Day at Mount Zion Baptist Church. As you know, Jane Allen was she's the state champion in wrestling, and we did honor her our last board meeting here, but we honored her at my church yesterday, and it was a grand occasion. It was tremendous. So, had a lot of good food, which I didn't know about it too far in advance, or I would have. I thought everybody was going to be there. Everybody that was, I guess, didn't show up. Anyway, I'm working right now with a couple of universities on some projects, some historical, finding some history with the University of the South, and also with one of the local schools, West Middle School. I'm working with them on some local history here. We'll be doing something on that. But I've been driving back with Swanee with them with the University of the South, and I've also agreed to do a class at Alabama A&M, so coming up pretty soon, asked me to teach a class there. So anyway, it's all just good preparation coming up for some things I've been working on and been excited about. So I'm just really excited at this point in my life.
Good.
Things that are really enjoyable.
Good.
That's pretty much it.
Good. Thank you, Alderman Blank.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since I was at this last meeting, I had a TUA meeting. Happy to announce we're +3 on LightTube signups for this last month. We also started on the solar panel project that's out going towards Franklin County, or in Franklin County. Also had a legislative visit to Washington and met with our legislators representing TUA and interests of public power. Met with Senator Blackburn, Senator Alexander, and also Congressman Desjardins, who represents the Franklin County area. Probably met with him more than anything. What we advocate is for not to sell off TVA or any of its parts, because I think that would affect us locally. Talked about municipal bonds and just things that would affect us on a local level in the Valley area. But it was a good visit. Arts Council had a teleconference last week. Planning Commission met a couple of weeks ago, so a busy past 2 or 3 weeks. A couple of other things. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Lillian.
Happy birthday to you.
I could put her on the spot. I do check her eyes. I don't think you would mind me telling that. So all the accolades that you have are due to Yes, thank you. I will pay you later. No, just kidding. We pick at each other, and I've known her since she was young, and I'm very proud of your accomplishments, and I expect great accomplishments when you get to college as well. And I hope you learned something up here tonight, but, you know, I'm proud of you. And the last thing is Shop Tullahoma. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
So were the cherry blossoms in bloom in Washington?
They
yet?
were not.
No.
That's probably, you know, sometime in April, we asked that, so. Sometime, depending on what the weather is, there's like a 2-week period, so.
So where would you be without your glasses, right?
In a pickle.
Yeah.
She couldn't name it, you know, I couldn't really put her on the spot and make her name dog species names or whatever.
So could you do calculus 2 without your glasses?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I'm glad I could help her out. I feel like that valedictorian is just a little part of my
I feel honored just sitting next to
I
him.
know. Oh, my
All right.
I kid.
Better move on. Alderman King, please.
Thank you. I don't know how to follow that. Other than your parents may be asking for a discount on their next eye exam, so.
We'll work something out.
There you go. I also, too entertained and hosted what I like most about Tullahoma, and I have enjoyed that every year that I have served as alderman. I've been able to attend that, and I have been a volunteer for 22 or 24 years for the CEO program. And I have been at East Lincoln for over 20 years. And it is a wonderful honor to be able to go and to give those children those awards. They are so excited. So we're so proud of them. This is a program that is put on by the Chamber of Commerce. They help them too in the CEO program. And so it's really, really nice to be able to see those students over there come and their parents and everyone attend. So. I attended the coffee at Brooksdale, and there again, that's a chamber function. Those of you who do not attend the coffees, you don't know what you're missing. A lot of our businesses go out and invite everybody to come and enjoy that, and that's a great event. That is once a month. Next week we will be having our tourism meeting. We have a lot going on with that, working on considering our new signage. We have some new projects and some things going on, so it's really an exciting time with a lot of our tourism right now. And then I also once a month volunteer at Morning Point, and I call bingo for the seniors and enjoy that immensely. So hello to my seniors out there, and I enjoy that as well. So that's what.
Great, thank you, Ms. King. Alderman Dunn.
I'll try not to violate any HIPAA laws while I speak. So.
I ask her permission.
After you said it, is it okay if I talk about your glasses? Isn't that what you said? Anyway, okay.
If she wants to turn me in, I'll go to jail.
He's done worse.
You're right.
I attended a Coffee County Communications Board meeting, and that was pretty much business as usual. They were considering consolidating with the Emergency 911 Board, but they decided to either put that off completely or at least put that on hold right now. Earth Day is going well. We have 3 sponsors at this point who have partnered with us. The Interlocal Solid Waste Authority, Cherokee Distributing, and Old Shed Brewing Company have all contributed to our event, so I'm very excited about that. And I was bummed out I didn't get to go to what I like about Tullahoma. I was in New York, and my cousin has served on NYPD up there for a long time, and he was talking about that. He said that they have on reserve up there, in case anything were to happen, $150 million in cash, and that would keep the city going for 3 days. So it was pretty unbelievable. Just everything. It was just so big. It was a beautiful place, though. We enjoyed it. But yeah.
But you made it back to second.
Yes, yeah.
Alderman Nellis.
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended what I like about Tullahoma. It is a fun thing to see those children accept those awards. They're very excited about it. A footnote, I'll mention that the University of Tennessee Space Institute is hosting a major workshop coming up in 2 weeks, 26, 27, 28 of this month. We'll have over 50 people from around the country there, bringing the expertise from 10 different universities will be represented. Coordinating that with Lockheed Martin is we're co-hosting with them. But coming together to talk about the state of hypersonics in the country and what our country is doing to prepare for a defense against hypersonic weapons that exist today. So that's one of the things that's going on in my personal life that I'm excited about as well. And on another personal note, I want to say to Miss Lydia and Miss Sharp know that how well I knew her grandfather and how we enjoyed working together a long time ago for several years. And you're a chip off the old block, I can tell you. He was great. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ms. Charlotte, anything that you would like to report on tonight?
Well, the Tullahoma High School DECA, the DECA Club stands for Distributive Educational Clubs of America. We attended our state conference March 7th through the 9th, so this past Thursday through Saturday. And we had about 48 competitors from Tullahoma High School, freshmen through seniors. And it's basically a general overview of it is we perform role plays in various business sectors, and it's a great program to help communicate, help learn communication skills, help learning intuitive thinking. It's a very great program, and we came home with about 10 state finalists, I believe that number is correct, and it was a great opportunity for all of us to attend, and that is one program I've been very grateful for over my whole high school career. And it's a great program for anybody wanting to branch out and do anything new and get involved in any sectors of the business world. Finance, tourism and hospitality is one of the sectors of it, so it's a great program for many high school students.
So what did you participate in?
I participated in entrepreneurship. I did a partner category, and it was basically a marketing role play. That we had to do is come up with a marketing strategy for a new delivery service.
So what did you win?
I did not actually win anything this year. It was very, very, very stiff competition this year, and my sector was actually a new addition this year. And I worked with my partner Sarah, and we had to come up with a delivery service for local movie theater popcorn. It was a very random category, but it was a very random role play. But I did not, unfortunately, win anything. But it was an amazing experience.
Good.
I'm very happy.
I'm sure you did very well. Okay, we're ready now for the city attorney's report. Mr. Worsham.
As you all know, last week we conducted an auction of some property that was approved to be declared surplus in South Tullahoma, and we had two bidders, the two adjoining property owners, and there was some pretty competitive bidding, and the city of Tullahoma netted $18,000 for that strip of property. And we'll need a motion now to ratify that sale and authorize the mayor and city recorder to execute the deed that I brought with me. I'll exchange that deed for the check from the purchaser of that property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, please restate the motion for Ms.
To
Golden.
ratify the sale of property to Mr. Petros Pasinos for the sum of $18,000 and authorize the mayor and city recorder to execute the deed to convey that property.
All right, you've heard a reading of the statement of the motion. We've got a motion by Mr. Mathis, seconded by Ms. King. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion as presented, vote green. Opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0.
Also, last week, we filed suit for the delinquent taxes for the year 2017 for about 300 parcels of property. We had a flurry of payments this week. Ms. Golden has helped us with that endeavor. Suits have been filed, and we're now working on the summonses that we'll mail out to all the people who have not yet paid. And beginning the first day of March, penalty and interest began to accrue on those in addition to additional costs and expenses. So we usually are pretty successful in getting our taxes paid. But we are looking into and working with the new clerk and master of the Chancery Court for a tax sale this year, and we're working with the county. The county has, as I've told you before, sold property on several occasions, and at that time they collected these delinquent city taxes, but some taxpayers have learned that if they pay their county taxes, their property won't be sold for county tax purposes, so they don't pay their city taxes. So we're going to find them, and we're going to get them this year.
Good.
Do you have any other questions? Okay. Or any? Yeah. Thank you.
So I want to share with the group, and this relates to Mr. Worsham a little bit. So I was showing Ms. Charbonneau the vault downstairs, and there's some old minute books there, okay? And so I flipped open the minute book, or one of the minute books that were there, and I turned to March the 8th, 1869. Okay? So that sheet of paper was 150 years and 3 days old. And so I started reading the paragraph about what the minutes were. And it just so happens on March the 8th, 1869, that the city government hired the first city attorney. And Ms. Charbonneau, do you recall what the annual salary was for that city attorney in 1869?
It was $75 per year.
Per year.
Per year.
Whoa.
Per year. Yeah.
Mr. Worship.
That's horrible. That was bad. Slap her for me.
Are you saying we're overpaid?
I'm not sure any of us want to go back to 1869, though.
No.
Okay, we're now ready for the city administrator report. Ms. Moody, please.
Yes, I will share with you, last week, Tullahoma Utilities hosted me for about half a day and allowed me to tour their facilities and see our wastewater treatment facility, their new solar array. So very impressive leadership and impressive work going on at Tullahoma Utilities. I feel good about our ability to provide power to any industry that would like to locate here. Also, last week, I was invited to out to Motlow for the Women's Philanthropic Society luncheon, and was just a guest there, and was very impressed to learn about some of the scholarship programs they have and how they're really helping women and changing their lives, allowing them to complete their degrees. The scholarship program there, it doesn't, when you are awarded, it doesn't just follow you for one semester, it follows you until you complete your degree. And they had some women there that shared their stories, and it was really powerful. And then the last thing I'll remind you, tomorrow night from 5 to 6 at the cafeteria at East Lincoln Elementary, we will be having a public meeting, come and go style, informal, to just gather thoughts and ideas for Silver Street Park. So if you're available, please come out and stop in and see us.
Good. Thank
Could you tell us Silver Street Park? What exactly is Silver Street Park? So people will
Well,
know.
right now it's a blank slate. It's a about 5-acre piece of property on Silver Street in East Tullahoma. And we have a $95,000 grant from the state to kind of build out some facilities there and help promote healthy activities. So that's what we want to do. We'll have posters up with different pictures of park amenities, and we're going to be asking people to prioritize and help us vote on what amenities they would like to see most in the park.
So just a bit.
Is that the little park there adjacent to East Lincoln?
No.
Where-
It
where
isn't.
is-
It's
where is
actually a
Silver?
little further down Lincoln Street,
Down on the left.
close to, somebody help me with some apartments.
Eastgate Apartments.
You might recall that last year, the city of Tullahoma acquired that land from Dr. Willoughby and Mr. Morris by donation, and we purchased the other share from Reagan Street Partners for a very nominal sum of money. So it's basically acquired for very little. It's a nice piece of property right across from several apartment complexes in East Tullahoma.
Yeah.
So one of the owners contacted me a year or so ago, as Mr. Worsham said, and wanted to know if the city would buy the property. That he'd had it for sale for some time, and I said, no, Harold, we won't buy it, but if you'd like to donate it, we'd be glad to take it, subject to whatever. And so that's what he ended up doing. And it's going to make a nice park. You know, our goal is to have at least 90% of Tullahoma within half a mile of some form of activity, you know, a greenway or a park or something like that. So this will really help in that part of Tullahoma to accomplish that. Yep. So that's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Okay, Ms. Moody, anything else? We good? Okay. So we're ready now for the consent agenda. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Item number 1932, minutes of the February 28, 2019 regular meeting, 1933 January finance report, General Fund, 1934, approve an application by the Tullahoma Police Department to the Tennessee Highway Safety Grant Program for funding to purchase 3 laptop computers and funding to support traffic enforcement operations in 2020. In 1935, approve a performance agreement with Vinyl Radio for a concert as part of the annual Independence Day celebration. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Proper motion by Mr. Noah, seconded by Mr. Mathis. All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, vote green. Opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Ms. Charbonneau, we're not looking at you, we're looking at the board right up there. So we have no other old business, is that correct? We have one item of new business, agenda item number 1936, consider approval of an agreement with Gresham Smith to complete a traffic study of Avoca Road at Riley Creek Road and authorize funding from the Capital Projects Fund. Let me get a motion in a second.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Noah, seconded by Alderman Duncan. So, Ms. Moody, let me call on you for just a brief explanation of what this entails.
Okay. We've had much discussion about Avoca Road and Riley Creek Road recently with new subdivisions being developed out that way. There's also a considerable amount of property available for future subdivisions and new homes. And we've had some discussion just at the development committee level from interested parties that want to develop it. So both from an interest at traffic safety and that intersection, that Y intersection, looking at how we can improve it, but also from a growth perspective and making sure that we improve those roadways to accommodate the future anticipated growth, we would like to do a traffic study. And we've recommended Gresham Smith, which is a firm out of Nashville. They would be able to quickly accomplish this task in approximately 6 weeks, whereas many of our local engineers are really busy and couldn't respond in as quick a time.
All right, you've heard an explanation, any discussion? I appreciate Ms. Moody and her initiative in making this happen so quickly. And her foresight as well. All ready to vote? All those wishing to vote for 1936, vote green. Opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Ms. Moody, any other new business?
No other business.
All right, we will adjourn and go immediately into the beer board portion of the agenda. We have 2 items, the consent agenda minutes of the February 25th beer board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mathis, second by Ms. Keene. All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, vote green. Opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. We have a little bit further explanation on beer permit for the new barbecue and steakhouse. This is item number 19 BB07. This is an on-premises beer application for the Whiskey Trail Barbecue and Steakhouse, care of Kendall Lane and Joseph James Gonzaga. This is the restaurant located at 413 Wilson Avenue, subject to final fire inspection. Are either of those individuals here? Okay, good. Do you mind stepping to the podium, please? You're Mr. Lane? I like that name.
Thank you.
So, congratulations on your investment in the community. So, have you received a copy of the beer laws of Tullahoma?
I have.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
You understand the sale of a beer is a very serious responsibility. So tell us what mechanisms you will have in place, Mr. Lane, to assure that beer is not sold to an underage individual.
We're going to implement full employee training. We're going to. I'm actually I'm good friends with Heath Luttrell, the ABC agent in the area, and employ his abilities a little bit to get some further training for my employees. We will also put them through the ABC online training that for all servers, bartenders, and everything have to go through that training anyway. So we're going to, and also we'll have an employee handbook with policies and procedures also.
And you'll make it a habit of checking IDs?
Absolutely.
Yep. So do you have any experience in this field? Sell beer?
Actually, I do a little bit with Monterey. I've actually worked for the Baseball Booster Club as the president of the Booster Club for Coffee County, and we've on several occasions work Titans games and Bonnaroo, the serving alcohol at those venues.
All right, do you have any questions of us?
I do not.
All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
when are you gonna be opening?
That's been a hot topic. I've got a lot of questions about that. We are burning through everything as fast as we possibly can go. Obviously, the paperwork takes longer than just about everything else. We can handle work. We are hoping by the middle of April, but it may push beyond that. That's our
That's
aggressive
just a
goal.
month from now.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty aggressive, but we're working very, very hard.
Right.
What are the things what would prevent you? What would be the slowdowns? What's the tall pole and the TP for you? What's the?
Well, there's a lot of different agencies, obviously, you have to touch base with to get permits and approval before you can pretty much do anything. Much like this, but it's nature of the beast. But having some experience already, because I own Route 55 Barbecue, which a lot of you are familiar with. So I have already 5 years' experience running a business there. So a lot of the paperwork to do with that was kind of second nature. But obviously going to ABC and making applications there, getting all the permits from Tullahoma and Coffee County and Secretary of State and everything you have to do to get a business open, it's a task.
Well, good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
So the chair will entertain a motion that we approve this permit subject to a final fire inspection.
Motion to approve, subject
Proper
to final
motion.
fire.
Second.
Dr. Blank, seconded by Mr. Mathis. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion as presented, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations.
Thank you
Welcome
very
to
much.
Tullahoma, and we
Yeah, we
appreciate your
Thank you.
investment here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Ms. Moody, any other beer board business you're aware? No. All right, so we will adjourn and we'll go into our board study session. So this is the start of the annual budget process for the city government of Tullahoma. And we historically have started with a short presentations by several organizations that annually request money from the city government. So, any questions before we get started? I'll ask each of the presenters to step to the podium, offer just a brief explanation of their request and provide any information they have, and then I'll open the floor for any questions, and if not, we'll quickly move on to the next. So, Mr. Lane, we're finished, but you're welcome to stay if you'd like to. We're used to people leaving. All right, we'll start with Ms. Hope Sarton with the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
So the floor is yours.
Sorry, I'm fighting a little something. But we just want to, when I say we, I'm saying the board and myself, want to thank you all for the consideration of continuing to support the chamber. We do ask for the 12% that we have requested in the past, and we'll provide a detailed list of everything that those funds will go into, including our tourism efforts. We do several different projects at the chamber, including the Think Tullahoma magazine. We're revamping the Shop Local campaign. Our ambassador program is thriving, which is a great program to have. I'm just so many things that we have happening, including our annual events like the Christmas Parade, the Taste of Tullahoma, our annual celebration. I guess I just am curious if there's any questions.
So when you mentioned 12%, you're talking about 12% of the hotel motel tax?
Yes, sir.
All right, just do it for clarification. Any questions? I think we all understand and appreciate the work the chamber does in Tullahoma. You're certainly a good partner with everything the city government is trying to do as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate the partnership.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, South Jackson Civic Association. I see Mr. Rick Russell back there. Mr. Russell sometimes talks a lot, so.
Yeah, he'll try to keep it under control.
Because see, for every minute over 2 minutes you talk, we take when it comes off.
I can handle that.
I'm just kidding.
The problem is when you're dealing with something that you're passionate about,
Sure.
you have a tendency to continue on. So I thank you for the opportunity Mr. Mayor and Board. South Jackson, as you see there in your information that was given to you, I think the request for this year was a totaling of $15,000, which is a few more than this past year. We did list expenditures there of where that went this past year, and you can see the expenses greatly exceeded the amount of the allotment. And but lots of great things happening, lots of great things going on. There are a few other issues, and I don't know if an opportunity to put them as a part of this allotment is something we could consider, or if it would be something that we would talk about at a different time. But something that Ms. Moody and I have spoken about is the softened fascia board at South Jackson and some of those things. And I would entertain questions about that, either here or separate from here, on what we need to do there and how we need to move forward with some of the building maintenance that need to.
So just keep your communications with Ms. Moody. Everyone here understands and appreciates that is a city facility. The city owns that building. So it is incumbent upon us, I believe, to make sure it's maintained.
Yes, we have a tremendous amount of things going on in the building and lots of awesome stuff. And but it becomes a lot of work then that continuously needs to be done, and we're trying to make sure we keep up with that and stay on top of that and are good stewards of the facility as well. We have our production coming up in April. The first 2 weekends of April is Beauty and the Beast. We already have over 500 tickets sold, and I'm scared about all the people that we'll have in the building, and all the people that will need to go to the bathroom, and a lot of that kind of thing. So we have several things there that we need to look at, and that we're hoping to address in the near future. But any help that you guys can lend is appreciated, and will be put to good use.
Do you like the paving on the north side of the building?
It's phenomenal. Yes. And when you think about how rainy it's been, and what we had prior to that parking lot, I cannot even imagine getting into the building. And it's really helped with the runoffs, and a push and a plug and a thank you to Rogers Group, because there were a lot of things that had to be addressed with that parking lot. It wasn't just putting asphalt down, and a lot of things had to be addressed, because we do have some basement area in South Jackson. It is not usable basement, but it is area that we have to maintain and make sure that it stays well. And through all of the rain in the month of February, we had 0 flooding in the basement. So that's incredible, because that's not happened in a long time. And of course, we have sump pumps in place and the kind of things necessary for that, but there was 0 flooding, and that was a big concern with putting the asphalt down and what we were doing around the building to make sure that the drainage was right. And so our architects and Rogers Group and everybody really did a great job in that situation. So
Mr. Russell has really done a good job with this, and appreciate your leadership and the team down there as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Scott, Tullahoma Arts Center. Speaking of good things going on.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sort of new to addressing y'all, so pleasure to meet you. I don't know if I've talked to everybody, but also new to the Tullahoma Arts Center board. I'm not sure they really knew what they were doing when they asked me and my wife to be a part of it, because we have hit the ground running trying to get that thing back up to speed.
Share with the group who your wife is, in case they don't know.
My wife is Kristen Luna. Local girl.
Everybody here.
I don't know how else to describe her that wouldn't get sappy. She's super awesome. Keeps me motivated.
Very talented.
They invited us to be a part of the board. I think just a lot of there was just a lot of noise that was out there that showed that we were interested in the arts. But I also love fixing up old buildings. I just can't help myself, much to my wife's dismay, I think, because now she knows how to lay tile and do drywall. So when I walked into this building, I realized it was a really special place, and it just has a really good energy and vibe to it, and the location is phenomenal for this town. I really hadn't paid attention to what it was until we were invited to the board before. But now that I've been there and have actually worked on it, getting it ready for the American Watercolor Society, hosting, fixing some water leaks, fixing some baseboards that were rotted, things like that. I've really kind of adopted it as another project of mine. And that's the nature of the request that I have made of the board here, is to increase our maintenance budget. I don't think money has been spent on the building in quite a long time. I found some, when I pulled the baseboard off, I scooped my finger in and pulled it, and I can only describe it as whipping cream, but it's supposed to be wood. And I don't think the whole building is like this. So what I've identified is just, and I don't know if Tennessee's wetter than it's ever been, but there's water flowing underneath this building. And that's, I think, at the heart of what I want to address first, is just get the structure itself watertight. It's a great old building. It's actually really solid, other than the moisture under it. So any questions on this? I mean, I'm still getting my feet under myself for what all the Tullahoma Arts Center does. But they do have after-school programs. They do senior classes. They have ballroom dancing. A group came in the other night, and we're planning on expanding some of the things that are going on there, including they're building out a new pottery classroom in the back with the Bonnaroo Works Fund this year. So.
Well, we appreciate your initiative and your willingness to get involved, and thank you for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, let's see, Hands-On Science Center, I don't see Sean here. Tullahoma Sports Council, that's an entity of independent entity of the city government. Historic Preservation Society, I don't see Mr. Shemp here or Ms. Collier. Keep Coffee County Beautiful, I don't see Tanya here. Tennessee Backwards Heritage, that's also Mr. Shemp. Civil Air Patrol. Coffee County Senior Citizen Center, I know. Vicky's here. Got a whole contingent. Ms. Henderson is here.
Well, first I want to share some of our activity calendars with you guys.
Good.
I've done this before, I don't guess, but anyway, if y'all would just pass one around. We're very thankful for everything that the city does for us. In the year 2017-2018, our daily participation was running between 147 and 151. We're a 50 and up senior center. We are very, very active. I think that we're often overlooked because people look at a senior center as just like a bingo place. But if I guess one of the things that I want to ask is that you come and get to know us, please. We are so active, and we have our board and the volunteers, some folks here tonight that I'd like to introduce to you, and maybe you can connect with one. But I mean, to just come and see what goes on. And I'm not just asking for special event participation. I'm asking for every day, just come and see what we're about. You would be so surprised. Today we had a couple come out of Murfreesboro who no longer felt comfortable in the traffic, and they became members today. We have folks that come from out of state that are members. Of course, we do not require membership because of federal and state funding, but we are only $25 a year if they choose to participate. If they choose to be members. So we don't decline anyone. But I think that, that's one of the biggest things that we want to ask is that please come and just see what your senior center is about. Because you have folks that are coming by to, they're looking for a place to go home to. They're looking for a place to relocate. Often we get young folks that come in that are looking for a place for their mom and dad. And, we do house the Meals on Wheels program. We also house Coffee County Public Transportation, which is public. We service about 100 a day, all of Coffee County. And we are just such an active center. I think one of the biggest challenges we are struggling with and have been for a couple of years now, is to our name, Coffee County Senior Citizens, Inc. We struggle, yes, we are Coffee County Senior Citizens, Inc., and we are in Tullahoma, and we're very proud to be. But we're struggling with our name because our center that was in Manchester, and we are no longer together, they also use part of our name. And you would be so surprised, the people that think that we're still together. Our organization's been here since 1972. May of 1972 is when we were chartered. And it's just very difficult when someone calls and they're really not calling for you, or if money is being sent somewhere and they meant for it to go to Coffee County Senior Citizens, Inc., but it may go there, theirs may come here. And so we just, as I say every year, could you just be a positive voice at the county level for us?
So how many members do you have?
Member-wise, we're running about 200, but I'm not a members person. Yes, that $25 a year most certainly helps, but we are participation. That's what we encourage.
Let me give you, speaking of participation, let me just read for our TV audience and audience members here that might not know. Just today, you had walking, hand and foot, haircuts, lunch, knitting, weaving, crochet, beginning line dance class, lapidary, and Western partner dance. Now tomorrow, you've got blood pressure checks, bridge, exercise class, life care, lapidary, lunch, Texas poker, game night. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
It is very active. Jackie and, can you think your first name?
Robin, sorry.
Robin, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, they do come in, and we're very thankful. We recently took a trip for our Black History event. We went to Nashville, didn't charge anything for our trip, opened it up to the public, and it was just a wonderful, we had 47 that went, and we're trying to become a little bit more active with our trips because we are running a younger population now. It's not unusual to catch, to come in and see someone that's under 50 or all the way up to 97, 98. So, I just want you to come get to know us. Come and so many of the people you'll already know. But I do want to introduce these folks that are here tonight. So, I'll just start back here. That's Sharon Johnson. Sharon, where are you originally from? I came from Reno, Nevada. Yes, one of our big volunteers, yes. Sherry, where are you from?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, Sherry is on our site committee board. Kay and Mary are like our strong volunteers. You can see them mopping, to decorating, to cleaning out front, to everything. Bill and Sharon Baxter. Sharon is our new chairman president. Bill is her husband. Elizabeth Stubblefield is our site committee. Peggy Lewis is our secretary. Margaret Henderson is our parliamentarian. Ms. Jean Evans is our treasurer. Is that all of us? So, we're just so active. I just want you to come out and get to know what goes on.
Well, when we get old enough, we'll
You don't have to be. We don't check IDs at the door. So just come on out. You don't have to worry. But
Well,
we
I
are
do-
thankful. If you've got any extra money, of course, the senior center would greatly appreciate it. So.
I do sympathize with you, and I remember growing up and having my grandmother and grandfather both going there for years, and now my mother goes and actually went on the trip last week somewhere where you went. I don't even know. I can't keep up with her, but she went somewhere with you last week. So I know, even though that we may be younger, it still does hit our hearts, believe me. And we still
It
do
is
positively
wonderful.
think about it and want to help.
And we go on the 22nd. We're actually going to Nashville for the Symphony's, one of their day programs, and having lunch and then going to the mall. So we're really, trying to even expand our program. And we have, I will say this, we have one full-time employee, one student who's part-time, and myself, I'm a split, supposed to be, with transportation in the center. And a lot, if it wasn't for the folks back here, Miss Jean is like our right hand in the kitchen. It's not, she's washing dishes, cooking, bringing stuff from home. When we have a special event, like we have our big party Friday night, we run 80, we can run 80, over 100, like Christmas in July. We run well over 100 at our Christmas in July. And so, like I say. And she's the treasurer. Yes, treasurer. I did say that. Yeah,
You still have your Meals on Wheels program.
We do still have our
Now,
Meals
how
on
many
Wheels.
meals do you think you average on a weekly time?
On a weekly basis, the Meals on Wheels program is totally separate from the center, which comes out of Fayetteville, Monday through Friday. And I may be totally off here. We've had some changes going on in our Meals on Wheels program. I want to say roughly about 50, but that may be, but that would count our congregate plus those home delivery. And, they come in, the ones that come in and eat with us, they eat for $1.50 donation. Most of the time, it's really not for that meal at all. Most of the time, it's just to be with people. I mean, we have people that come in at 8 o'clock and stay till we close at 9. We don't, yes, our hours are 8 to 4, but as long as there's somebody here, we stay. Tomorrow night is it game night tomorrow night? No, yes, game night's tomorrow night. Then our big party's Friday night, but, we just we want you to feel like you're home away from home.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, and thank y'all for being here. Anybody want to say anything? He didn't ask us to, we didn't want to, but y'all want to.
So I've had some of Miss Evans' food, and anytime she's cooking, you let me know, okay? I'll be glad to be there. I've had some of her good food before.
I'm telling you, we push out. We have special parties, and we try to have a theme, and Miss Jean's known for gravy. Isn't that right, Miss Jean?
So Miss Henderson,
And cornbread, green gravy and cornbread.
Miss Henderson is the parliamentarian, I understand.
Yes, she is.
So I'm receptive to any suggestions you have on that. All right, thank you.
Observing to see how we're doing.
Good. All right, Jerry is here with the library.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me. at the
Thank you for
library.
being here.
I am Jerry Sperling, Coffee County Lanham Library trustee, and I just wanted to give you some update on what's happening, very short. I cut my 20 minutes down here, so.
Thank you.
A lot of good stuff, but last year you increased our budget for electronic material, and I just wanted to tell you that has been well accepted. It's being used. We have 231 ebooks, which is priority for our patrons. Now, you also have, those of you that have tried it, have access to 25,000 books statewide. So that gives you the opportunity for a large selection. And so we checked out, just from the Lanham Library, last year 28,600 books on the electronic library. And we're expanding. We're trying some things with that, other materials. Now that includes audio books also. So that has gone over really well, and it's also we have 531 people that don't even come in the library that use that. So we have a lot of homebound folks. I know I deliver meals. May I say something about Meals on Wheels? I'm going to chase a rabbit here, but that is a ministry. We see folks that have no family. We're the only people they see at lunchtime. So I would encourage any of you that have time to volunteer for that program. Now back to libraries. Last FY, Tullahoma's checked out 136,884 physical items. And I'm going to give you one more number, and then 86,775,000 people came through the doors. Robert over at County Maintenance, we call him regularly to work on the doors. Because if that double that for how many times they've swung. So anyway, now we are also partnering where we can. We partnered with Parks and Recreation to provide material for the new Rock Creek Storybook Walk, which is behind the Senior Center and goes around behind the library. Hopefully this is going to get some folks outside and walking as soon as it quits raining. But the material is there. And the library is looking to partner too throughout the community where we can, so we get more bang for the buck. we partnered with the seniors when we had the Eclipse party, and we had a good age range. We had children interacting with our senior adults, and just had a great time. And then earlier this year, we had a block party where we invited nonprofits, and we were able to block off the street, and we introduced the community to our nonprofits. And the fire truck was a big, I don't know if they're a nonprofit or not, but the fire truck was a big hit. So, but the animal shelter brought a couple of dogs and walked them around. I don't know if they got adopted or not, but the library really is more than books, as we say. It's become a community center, and we're looking for ways, and we are getting outside of the walls of the library. So stop by.
Good.
Good things are happening. Thank you.
Can I add something, Mayor? The Elizabeth Stubblefield and Peggy Lewis are part of the Walk with These program with the Linda Widow. So we're partnering with them, and they will be starting a walking program soon. So we hope to get out and enjoy the new walking trail. It is beautiful.
It is. Let's see, South Central Human Resource Agency. I don't see anybody here from there. Skills. I don't see her here.
And since there's no one to speak for skills, I will just say that is probably one of the most important programs in our city. So, and I'm really appreciative of what they do for our folks.
I agree. Yep. Tennessee Rehab Center, Kelowna Daycare, Trinity Care, Community Playhouse. Did I miss anybody in the audience? I don't think I did. Thanks everybody for being here. Meeting is adjourned.